Hi everyone, my name is Elaine, and today I'm going to be both summarizing and reviewing the 21st novel in Terry Pratchett's Discworld series, Jingo. Starting with the summary. An island known as Leshp rises out of the Circle Sea roughly halfway between Ankh-Morpork and the city of Al-Khali on the coast of Klatch. The patrician summons Vimes to his war council with the other city leaders. Al-Khali and Ankh-Morpork can't agree on which land is Leshp's rightful owner, since each land has a fisherman who claims to have set foot on the island first. The patrician appears as though he wants to avoid war. They have no ships, no standing army, and no money due to a lack of collected taxes. Vimes is asked to organize a team to help collect the back taxes. The council has informed Prince Kafura of Klatch will be arriving tomorrow to discuss the situation with the patrician, and that they have permission to reform regiments. The council is dismissed. Tensions rise between Ankh-Morporkians and Klatchians in the city and in the water surrounding the island. Both sides know that Leshp is a key strategic position. The prince arrives in Ankh-Morpork with his retinue. Vimes discovers both a corpse and a clove at the foot of the barbican. Aussie Brunt, a bowman, attempts to assassinate Prince Kafura as he parades through Ankh-Morpork. The prince is critically injured but not killed. His older brother, Prince Kadram, is furious and the assassin is dead. Some masonry had fallen atop him. Vimes suspects there's more to the attempted assassination than first meets the eye. He believes 71-hour Ahmed, a member of the prince's retinue, may have been involved. He also knows that the prince was shot in the back by a man who was in front of him with a bow he would have trouble drawing back, etc. Vimes puts Angua and Carrot on the case. Corporal Littlebottom arrives at the Vimes residence and informs Vimes that a murder has taken place. While investigating Unseen University's library, Angua senses that a man was standing by the window with a good view of the street below. He was the man who nailed the window's boards back after Aussie got into the barbican. That's on page 130. She thinks he shot an expensive bow and knows he has bad dandruff. Carrot immediately suspects the murderer known as Snowy Slopes. Death comes to collect Snowy. He had had his head chopped off. Cheery informs Vimes that a Klatchian killed someone and there's a mob gathering in Scandal Alley. Vimes breaks the mob up and discovers that Cheery had been misinformed. Mr. Gorf's son had shot a baker in the arm. The man was not badly hurt. The Gorfs are placed under the Watch's protection. Cheery informs Vimes that the Klatchian embassy is on fire. Angua and Carrot pay a visit to Snowy's and discover his corpse. Vimes rescues people from the burning embassy. Vimes appears to be at a loss. Snowy, whom he is convinced tried to kill the prince, had been killed. His fall guy, Aussie, who probably thought he was really the prince's assassin, was also dead, and the Watch was supposed to believe it was a Klatchian plot. That's on page 169. Lord Rust informs Vimes that the patrician stepped down until the emergency passes. Rust instructs Vimes to place all the Klatchians living in the city in custody because they are about to go to war and the city is about to be placed under martial law. Rust informs Vimes that Prince Kafura has been kidnapped. Vimes is stripped of his authority and the Watch is placed under the council's command. Rust has trouble finding a replacement for Vimes. Both the Klatchians and Ankh-Morporkians give one another 12 hours to remove their people from Leshp before actions are taken. Both sides refuse. War is coming. Several Klatchians leave Ankh-Morpork. Leonard of Quorum collects Nobby and Colin for the patrician. Rust begins planning his invasion of Klatch. Vimes begins recruiting for his regiment. The Watch joins. It's Vimes' duty as a knight to form the regiment. The regiment doesn't fall under Rust's command because they would only fall under the control of the king or his appointed representative, and neither has existed for a long time in Ankh-Morpork. Vimes receives a note from Colin stating that both he and Nobby have volunteered for a vitally important mission. Leonard, the patrician, Nobby, and Colin set off on a journey in Leonard's going under the water safely device. 71-hour Ahmed captures Angua. Carrot tells Vimes what happened. They decide to go after 71-hour Ahmed. The Watch departs to rescue Angua. Rust decides to send his forces after them. He fears they will be viewed as an invasion force and does not want defeat on Ankh-Morpork's record. Angua escapes. She knows 71-hour Ahmed had led her. Angua, Ahmed, and the Watch arrive in Klatch. The Watch continues its pursuit. The patrician and his crew discover that Leshp is floating atop a massive gas bubble which is gradually deflating, which will ultimately cause Leshp to fall back beneath the sea in roughly a week. Vimes discovers that Prince Kadram is trying to unite Klatch, but is being opposed by the tribes. Angua finds the Watch. The Ankh-Morporkians are reunited. The patrician, Nobby, and Colin enter Al-Khali in disguise. They are looking to gather information on Prince Kadram. The locals feed Colin false information. They suspect he's a spy. The patrician steals a magic carpet. Vimes realizes that Ahmed is a fellow policeman. Nobby, Colin, and the patrician ride the magic carpet toward Jebra, where Nobby heard the Klatchian army is gathering. Vimes and Ahmed speak to one another. Vimes discovers that Ahmed is a member of the Assassin's Guild and confirms that he killed Snowy Slopes. Vimes learns that Kafura's demise was plotted in Klatch, that a thief had planted misleading clues in Aussie's room to help incite the war. Vimes learns that Ahmed was the one who set fire to the Klatchian embassy, which burned down. He used it as a diversion to smuggle Kafura to safety. Vimes is informed that Prince Kadram was behind his brother's assassination attempt. Kadram wants to start a war and use his brother's death to unite all of Klatch to fight Ankh-Morpork. The pair team up. The war begins. Vimes and company place Rust, Kadram, and their armies under arrest on charges of disturbing the peace, etc. The patrician arrives and offers Ankh-Morpork surrender. They are to give up their claim of Leshp to Klatch, withdraw their people from Klatch and the island, pay reparations, etc. Kadram won't accept their surrender and Rust wishes to banish Vetinari. The patrician agrees to ratify the surrender on Leshp. The Ankh-Morporkians return home. Vimes discovers that he's supposed to place the patrician under arrest for treason. When the patrician turns himself in, Vimes reluctantly has him arrested. Lesh falls back beneath the sea. Vimes removes Veterinary's handcuffs. The charges against him no longer hold any weight. Leonard locks himself back in his room in the palace. The war is officially over. Prince Kafura replaces his older brother as ruler in Clash. Kadram runs for his life. Rust is no longer in charge of Ankh-Morpork. Vetinari is. The patrician makes Vimes a duke. And that's the end of the novel. Now, on to my book review. I felt as though this was one of the most well-written novels in the Discworld series so far, and that its plot had a clear and logical progression, which cannot always be said of Discworld novels, especially those that came early in the series. Even so, I didn't feel as though I was drawn into the story. I feel as though this stems from my sheer lack of interest in most stories surrounding mysteries and with a strong political component, as well as a lack of new and intriguing characters. Although there were several who came and went throughout the course of the story, 71-Hour Ahmed is the one that really sticks out, and he's really just a mysterious policeman, which isn't too exciting as far as I'm concerned. I also felt as though the novel's pace was a tad slow and would have liked it to pick up a bit. I appreciated seeing the cultural differences between Clash and Ankh-Morpork and watching Nobby get in touch with his feminine side. I think this novel's purpose was to prove that war is stupid or absurd, and I think Pratchett was successful in doing that. Both Clash and Ankh-Morpork were fighting over an island they both had claim to despite it being so far from both their homes, and despite its lack of anything particularly useful to either location despite its sheer location. The fact that Ankh-Morpork especially fought for it even though they truly lacked the means until it was mustered, and that both countries were ready to continue fighting over it even though it sank back beneath the sea really drives the point home. War is dumb, and sometimes so are the people who want to fight in them. Overall, I gave this book a 3.6 out of 5-star rating. If the pace had been a little better, and it had introduced a few more intriguing characters, or rather any new intriguing characters, I think I would have liked it a lot more. And there you have it, my summary and review of Terry Pratchett's Jingo. What did you think of my review and my summary? What did you think of this book? Let me know down below. I always like to know what you guys think. And if you like what you saw here today, please smash that like button until it's blue. Subscribe, ring that bell so you'll know what's up, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye, guys.